I don't know whether or not this is a good decision optics-wise. I've been rolling it around in my head for about a week. I feel as though at this point I'm big enough and have a large enough audience that I can just avoid doing stuff like this. I don't need to respond to it or dignify it. But I also think it might be a good idea to do a little bit of a retrospective on, if any of you have seen it, that hit piece video that I, Hypocrite, edited together to try and cultivate the impression that I hate trans or LGBTQ people or something. Have you guys seen that video? It's been linked all over the place. I am actually incredibly flattered that I, Hypocrite, spent how many hours he did cultivating and editing this together to try and like get me. The funny thing is, guys, I've been canceled before. It's impacted my sub growth, my viewer count, my everything. I felt nothing at this point. It could be because at this point I'm getting 2 million views a week, or sorry, not a week, a month on my YouTube channel, which means that my growth has vastly exceeded what it was back when this stuff would affect me a little bit more. It could be because I've been here longer and there's more of a sort of more of a substantial precedent where people are familiar with my policies, so they like know what I'm actually about. But I thought it would be fun to go over this. This is deceptively edited. We can point out where it's deceptively edited, but we can look over it, maybe get a little bit of a retrospective on what I was saying or how I was feeling at the time. And see like maybe if I can reinterpret what I'm saying or if I just outright denounce. I haven't watched this. I actually haven't watched this because I know basically what it says. But yeah, here. Whoa, well, that's skipping to the end. So this is a segment, if I recall correctly. God, look how young I am there. This is a segment from the legendary Thought Slime stream, which was essentially after a very minor Twitter beef with Thought Slime, and then a larger Twitter beef with Thought Slime fans. I got really angry, and I woke up the next morning, and I freaked out. I freaked out and got real angry and said some pretty dumb shit. How dumb? I don't know. I haven't seen it in a while. Here, let me move you guys over here. See, you're gonna be over there. As always, we're compensating for the fact that we're looking at a streamed video of myself. So there are two chats, you know, middle chat's you guys, old chat on the left is, well, some of you guys are still here, aren't you? Hey, try to see if you can find your own usernames on the left-hand side. Well, okay. The left community online, particularly the LGBT community, is cancerous as fuck. If you're not an idiot, you will agree with me on this. If you have any fucking experience with online like LGBT or leftist discourse, you know it's cancerous as fuck. You understand this. People are hyper fragile. There's a ton of mental illness. And you can't convert these people. They're not... What was that? A ton of mental illness. And there's a cut right there. You saw that? So that was a full segment right there. Now there's going to be a jump to where I'm saying something maybe on a different topic. But to the first segment there, I should probably clarify what I was saying. At the time, I was grappling a lot with what I considered to be some of the more toxic elements of the online left. This is something that ContraPoints has since done a really good job breaking down in her canceled video, you know? And there are people online who are saying just heinous stuff about her, and they've done it to me too, and it comes from this position of hyper fragile like pseudo progressive attention. So like here's an example. ContraPoints in her video on canceling said that she had been sexually, I believe, assaulted, or was it harassed? I think it was assaulted by a prominent left-leaning YouTuber. Something to that effect. Some people said it was me, by the way, with no evidence. They just assumed me. I've never met Natalie in my life. But she said she didn't want to out who that person was because she didn't feel the community was capable of handling that information in a responsible way. And some people online, some of you guys in chat may even know who, went ahead and called Natalie a rape apologist for refusing to disclose the person who sexually assaulted her. So what this is it's like, it's kind of a progressive take. Like hey, this is rape apology because you're not standing up for the victim, except the victim was Natalie. And the victims of sexual assault should always be the ones to determine whether or not they out that information, you know? So like, holy shit, you're like attacking victims of sexual assault with like woke language. It's like really weird, you know? So that was the tendency I was trying to call out. A lot of these people are left-leaning. A lot of these people are LGBTQ. Just seems to be the case. There are reasons for that. There is a lot of fragility in the online LGBT community, which is very legitimate. I mean, a lot of these people are in very vulnerable situations. So them maybe being a little more reactive or fragile, I totally get that, you know? Sometimes that can come across in very toxic ways. At the time, I was very angry. To summarize, I agree with the sentiment that I'm saying here. Obviously, the way in which I am presenting this information is not conducive to, you know, a good faith conversation. I'm not really helping anyone out here with this one, you know? I'm just like angry. I'm not conveying my information well.
You can't convert.
So we've had a jump now. This is a different segment. I don't know if it's 1 minute past or 10 minutes past. I have no idea.
These people, they're not reasonable. They have to be excised from the left. And it's because...
Okay, so that was another cut. You can't reason with these people. They're not reasonable. They need to be excised from the left. I think some people are like that, yeah. Like the person who made that comment about Natalie, I would consider that to be pretty unreasonable. And I would say that our collective image on the left, our ability to advocate for ideas, is hurt by these people. They hurt left-leaning people. It hurts us. I stand by that statement. It doesn't mean, by the way, that they should be like not treated with safety. Like if there's a trans person who I'm saying should be excised from the left, I'm not saying they should be misgendered or they should be cast out of progressive spaces where their identities are made like validated. I'm saying that that as agents of political advocacy, they should be disregarded. That their ideas are shit, are poo-poo, dog shit. So I stand by that. And now we have another cut. See, we have another segment here. Let's see what this one says.
Because it's coming from dumb fucks who are gay. What is this person says they're gay as hell? Because it's coming from the gays. It's woke now. These people are less than human to me. I have no respect for these people.
That one comes across really, really, really bad there. So I do want to clarify, and again, this is cut together to give a certain impression, that when I say these people are subhuman, what I'm talking about is people who weaponize the language of progressivism to end up doing what is actually quite reactionary, anti-left, destructive stuff. Again, the Natalie thing would be a good example. The reason why this was edited was to give the impression I was speaking about gay people or about LGBTQ people. I think I was way too flippant with saying it's the gays here. Now, obviously, I am pansexual. I have sex and have had sex with men and trans people, and I have a non-standard relationship. So I often consider myself to be openly enough a member of the LGBTQ community that sometimes I can make flippant comments about it. Like sometimes I say the word, you know, like faggot, for example. I call myself a faggot. Sometimes I'll be like, what are you, a fucking faggot? To someone who says like they don't want extra hot sauce on their food. And to me, that's funny, because I'm kind of making a joke about me being the type of person who would say that ironically or unironically. But of course, you know, I am what I am. I do what I do. So I'm probably not actually suggesting that it makes you less masculine or gay or whatever to not like hot sauce. It's just fun for me, you know? Sometimes trans people will say the T slur more flippantly in their own circles. I think it's just a thing people do. We all know black people, the N-word, we all know how it works, okay? That being said, though, the use of the language subhuman, even if I'm referring to people who are destructive in the left by weaponizing quote-unquote progressive language and not saying they're subhuman because they're trans or whatever, I think that's bad language to use in this context. So I retract that, you know? It's gone now. It never happened. Never happened. Never ever.
These people are fucking disgusting.
I stand by that, though. I think some of their rhetoric and behavior is pretty disgusting. Okay, we got another jump.
You don't need to be a psychologist to see that a large portion of the broader fucking like woke tard cancel culture idpo left is predicated on shared mental illness. This is particularly prominent in the trans community. If you disagree with me on this, you're wrong. I know it sounds yikesy. It happens anyway. Pretty much every
So that's, I think, the one that gets dragged out the most as a condemnation of my behavior, or like evidence of my being transphobic. So I can clarify this. When I say mental illness, I stand by that. Every time I see that particular type of behavior online, it is being done by people who are not just evidently, but openly suffering from some kind of mental thing. And it's not the mental thing itself that makes them not worthy of respect or humanity or consideration or anything like that. But it is nonetheless a fact of life that mental illness, I say this as somebody who has bipolar disorder, mental illness can harshly impede your ability to form good big boy takes, good big brain takes on Twitter. You know, mental illness and Twitter, let me tell you folks, sometimes water and oil. Okay. And I stand by that. Now, I said a lot of them are trans. A lot of them are trans. In fact, some of the most prominent people, I think even Contra specifically like pointed out these people who engage in the behavior, this like very cancel culture, very like woke scoldy, very performatively fragile behavior. Those people are very often trans. And I can speak again to sort of the legitimacy of the fragility of the LGBT community. I think it's a really complicated subject that's worthy of discussion. But suffice it to say, no matter how callous I am being with my characterizations here, I maintain, and I've always maintained this, that what I am angry at here, no matter what descriptors I'm using, is the behavior of these people and not their identities. And again, I this is very, very bad language to use. Like today, I think I could express a similar degree of frustration with much less ambiguity. You know, would you say your autism is a mental illness in this context or a condition that doesn't affect your cognitive talkie man debate skills? Autism can absolutely affect your ability to present information, but it's not a mental illness. It's just a condition. My bipolar disorder is a mental illness. And it's not at all unlikely that I was having a bad episode of that during this Thought Slime breakdown stream. That doesn't excuse my behavior. I've always maintained that no matter the explanation for one's bad behavior, it is never an excuse. If you have like a mentally ill thing going on, it can help explain or elucidate certain behaviors sometimes, but it's never an excuse. I stand by that for me. I stand by that for everybody else.
Every time I deal with dipshits from the left, it's trans girls. That I notice there's
every time I deal with dipshits from the left, it's trans girls. What was that thing I said in Discord that everyone got really mad about? Man, if trans people didn't exist, my notifications feed would look a lot better right now. Which was true. There were a lot of trans people mad at me during and after this stream, and it is indeed the case that they made my notification feed you know, quite unfortunate. Now, whether or not that, you know, they had a good reason to, I'm not commenting on. Some people interpreted that as me saying trans people should be genocided, which I think is fucking crazy. I think I said at one point, the trans question in like TQ. Now, my thought at the time was like, I've done literally dozens of videos on like trans people. I assume that if this gets out, like people will understand that I'm pro-trans and that I'm in a pro-trans Discord community and that my mod team is full of trans people and that everyone around me is fucking trans people. So that when I say the trans question, I'm just kind of making a joke about my being mad and not so much. But I'm a little bit smarter than that now, I think. Yeah, but I can see how that'd be interpreted poorly. I still don't think that me saying my notifications feed would look better if trans people didn't exist is me saying trans people shouldn't exist. I think those are two very, very different statements. But we can move on. Quite a few of the mods are trans. Yeah, isn't like everyone in my Discord trans? I'm pretty sure everyone I've ever met in my life is trans. They're like the fucking magnetic attraction.
a vastly disproportionate amount of dumb fuck lefty takes in my feed coming from trans people. Like, I don't like.
At the time, that was the case because it was trans people in large part that I had angered. Again, factually true, but when cultivated like this, it gives the impression that I think there's some inherent quality of trans people that makes them like shitty or stupid or something, which is A, not what I meant, but also B, something I should have taken greater effort to not give people the impression of.
I don't know. Most of the time, when a wildly fucking irrational lefty comes in to make bad faith arguments against me, it's a trans person. That is a fact. If
at the time, it was a fact. Again, the issue isn't so much the outright factuality of the statement. The issue is more the potential implications of the statement, which is something that you have to take into consideration. I literally just roasted Destiny on this 2 days ago. And of course I apply the same standard to myself here. This stream happened like 8 months ago. 9 months ago? God, it's been so long.
All of these dumb fucks recognize that I despise them and think they're every bit as dead.
Do you see the commonalities between that stream and the Destiny thing? Oh wait, there you go, lol. There you go, my man. Yeah, of course. I mean, this stream happened. This was literally like my worst stream, you know? I think for the most part, I do a pretty great job of engaging with like problematic rhetoric in a healthy way. When I make femoid jokes like, the fucking duplicitous femoid robbing us of our virile sperm. When I say stuff like that, I don't think anyone is going to be made more misogynistic by what I'm saying because it's in the context of a pro-woman, pro-progressive discussion. And it's so ridiculous, I'm never making an argument. You never want to make arguments. You don't want to convince people, you know? And when I'm edgy, you know, when I'm like, these fucking transes, you know, you children, again, that's sort of, I think, affectionate. My community has a lot of trans people, and you're all my children in a way, because you're down there in my chat, and I look down at you, and you give me money, as is natural for a child to do to their parent. But this stream, though, didn't have any of that ironic disaffectation, you know? This stream didn't have any of that carefully controlled engagement with problematic rhetoric. It was just me being really salty, you know?
Detrimental to the left as Nazis are. I am doing good. I want these people to
Wait,
know
what was
that
that?
they're my enemy. All of these dumb fucks recognize that I despise them and think they're every bit as detrimental to the left as Nazis are. I am doing good. I want these people to know that they're my enemy. I fucking hate them. I really do.
But they're
despise
not
them.
your enemy.
Oh no.
Okay, so I think we're talking with Lexi here. Hi, Lexi. Maybe you'll see this after this is made a video. I'm so sorry I was mean to you during this stream. I was in a really bad mood. I look very silly here in this paused frame, too. My resolution has gotten so much better, huh? Look at how much nicer my camera is than the one I had back then. Whatever the case is. So there are two basic statements here. One is that they're my enemy, and one of them is that they're like more harmful to us than the Nazis. So to clarify, when I say they're my enemy, I mean they are, and they were. Most of these like woke scoldy Twitter accounts still have me blocked. Most of these accounts like will still like shit talk me or lie about me or say I'm a rapist or whatever. I would consider them my enemy to this day. I just don't care about them anymore because I'm really, really big now, at least relative to how I was. Oh, gotcha, Lacking Saint. Well, I mean, it's always a reason. Well, Lacking Saint, I still disagree with the way in which you explained it to me. I still disagree with a lot. I stand by many of the positions that I had that were opposed to yours, but I am always believed we probably have more in common than we do, that separates us. Whatever the case may be. So are these people my enemies, like the woke scoldy type? Yeah, sure, in like some weird LARPy Twitter war kind of way. But are these people worse for us than the Nazis? So there are two ways to interpret this statement. One is the way I meant it, and one is the way everyone else interpreted it. The way everyone else interpreted it was, oh yeah, there you go, Lacking Saint, Pathologic and Hunter x Hunter. I mean, that's basically 90% of a friendship right there. The way a lot of people interpreted it was me saying that woke scold mentally ill trans people are worse than Nazis, which I don't believe. Should clarify. Not even close. It's Nazis, genocide. No. Okay, just clarifying that. What I said and what I meant was that they're worse for us, as in they harm leftist advocacy more than the Nazis. This is why when Nazis go online and they engage with our arguments, they terribly sorry, I had like a smudge in my glasses. When they go online and they engage with our arguments, they give us a framing that allows us to juxtapose the legitimacy of our values against those of Nazis. Let me tell you folks, to the general audience, me coming out and talking about the need to like socialize the means of production probably doesn't look that good. If I'm doing it and then next to me is someone talking about how we have to get all the Jews and the blacks out, that actually makes me look a little smidgen better, you know? You know what they say, socialism or barbarism, the juxtaposition frames us in a positive light because, of course, the Nazis are evil and we are good. What these woke scoldy types, the ones that I'm so mad about here in this video, do, though, is they make us look bad because they are a part of us. They are left-leaning, at least, you know, nominally. But then they go ahead and they make dumb fuck takes anyway, which makes us look really bad, and it can hurt our optics, you know? I said this in my Mayo side video. I know a lot of you guys are really upset about this, but if you're a dumb fuck, apolitical, centrist, whatever white dude, and you notice that a bunch of lefties on Twitter keep making jokes about how we need Mayo side and how white people are all stupid and white people are the enemy or whatever, even if those jokes aren't necessarily like intended to be discriminatory, and even if they're all in good jest, and even if they don't reinforce systemic prejudice, they can still move a lot of people off of the left, which is why all of the fucking skeptics on YouTube keep saying SJWs hate white men, or hate cis white men. You know what I mean? There are very few people on the left who actually hate cis white men. There are a fuckload of people who look like they hate cis white men to the average dumb fuck, okay? So the optics distinction is important. Am I occasionally engaging in bad optics? Yes. That doesn't invalidate my argument. And this, again, was my argument here, that the poor optics, which are caused by the woke scoldy types, are more damaging to the left movement than Nazis are. But are they worse than Nazis? No. So let's finish this. We're 30 seconds out.
Yes, they are. They hurt.
I'm saying to Lexi that these people are my enemy. Okay, it hurts me to watch a video where I'm mean to Lexi. By the way,
me, and they hurt you, because every time some dumb fuck trans girl on Twitter who's acting out mental illness, whining, calling people like me transphobic because I disagree with them, they're hurting the left. No, these people are.
I mean, hyperbolic language aside, I stand by the sentiment there. I do think those people hurt the left. I do think that it furthers the marginalization of our most vulnerable members the most, of course, because if there are people who engage in bad optics and they're also like trans people, it not only does that make the optics worse, because most people fucking hate trans people, unfortunately, it also means that a lot of that antagonism is going to be directed against that group of people. It's, again, you know, antagonistic language aside, I stand by the sentiment.
Ill. These people are cancer. They're subhuman. I don't care.
Question. You don't have to do that kind of shit. That doesn't help.
Yeah, I'm edgy. I don't give a fuck.
I do now give a fuck.
It's not just you know that's not just being edgy.
Damn right. Yeah, it's edgy as shit.
No, making a reference to the Jewish question about how like.
Well, that's just Twitter pausing for me. I didn't click anything. Come on. Respectability politics? No, respectability politics is prescriptive. Respectability politics is when respectability politics is when you say you should be respectable, that you should be kind and decent and civil, and that is like a necessary prerequisite for political engagement. Optics is acknowledging the fact that no matter what, you have to care about your image. I fucking hate respectability politics. I have to respect optics. Okay, let's replay that. YouTube, I mean, Twitter player, are you okay? Yo, Twitter. Whoa!
Conspiracy or whatever. Like, that's not, you hey. know that's not just being edgy.
Damn right. Yeah, it's edgy.
What the fuck? Okay, Twitter players fucking shit. I will, okay.
The left community online, particularly the
Twitter.
The left community. These people are cancer.
It's not edgy.
Damn right. Yeah, it's edgy as shit.
No, making a reference to the Jewish question about how like there's like a trans conspiracy or whatever. Like that's not just being edgy. That's like literally calling for the death of trans.
I will say this. This is the only thing I'm going to say sort of explicitly in my defense. Tensions were heated. I fucked a million things up. I do think that in the context in which I did it, pro-trans YouTuber, trans community, posting it in a Discord full of trans people, that me saying like the trans question, and that's it, just those 3 words, I think that fits within the edgy purview, not the outright bigotry purview. In the broader context of the events that had transpired surrounding this stream, I can understand how that comes off a little bit differently. But I stand by. I think targeted edginess can be pretty fun sometimes. I think I would repeat that joke, you know? I could do it right now. That's the thing. Nobody's mad at me right now. If I went into the Discord, I'm going to do it right now. We're going to do it right now, folks. I'm going to do it right now. Okay, Discord's not loading quickly. I don't care enough anymore. Okay, we're not going to do it. But I could do it, you know, it doesn't matter. Like, the trans question, just, like, edgy. But the point that I'm trying to get at here, broadly speaking, is that there are unquestionably ways that, that I could have expressed this sentiment better. And I did. Later. Because when I was less angry, I went ahead and put out a 4-part video series called My Problems with the Left, parts 1 through 4, gatekeeping, woke scolding / purity testing, cancel culture, and the 4th one isn't being shown in the recommended video list, so I can actually only assume there are 3, in spite of the fact that there are definitely 4. I did those 4 videos. I expressed the arguments I wanted to express. I think I did a pretty good job. They're not like my most popular videos or whatever, but I'm glad I got them out there. I'm glad I was able to get my ideas out there in a less heated, less antagonistic environment. So I'm happy about that. But yeah, ultimately the gist of it is, this is like a lazily cut together attempt by iHypocrite, who, by the way, I haven't talked to in like 6 months, and he still tweets and makes videos about me incessantly. The dude is desperate for engagement. And because I'm a petty bitch, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to look at his social blade compared to mine. So that's 1.8 million views over the past month. And we've got... And we've got iHypocrite, and iHypocrite is at 22,000, or about 1/100th of my video views. Is it petty? Perhaps. Is it probably in some way relevant to his interest in baiting my attention? Yes. So, yeah. Oh, by the way, just so you guys know, and I know most people know this, iHypocrite is a neo-Nazi. He's not just a fascist. He's an alt-righter. I don't have, like, pictures on hand or whatever. But when I actually did the debate with him, from the fallout afterwards, I was able to look at him and his community. And yeah, he full-on dog whistles, Jewish question, white nationalist, conspiracy theories, JQ, like the whole 9 yards. So, and he thinks trans people are degenerates, you know, who should kill themselves or are going to kill themselves anyway or whatever. So yeah, I wouldn't be taking cut together clips from him as good evidence of good evidence of much. But what bothers me is, here, wait, really quickly. This seems a little bit petty. Occasionally I do name search myself on Reddit, just because I like seeing the discourse, and I have a very searchable name, thankfully. And I just like seeing, you know, what people are talking about. It's just, you know, like, goddamn, you know, so much conversation on me. It's nice. But sometimes it's not so nice, because the video that we just looked over together, the iHypocrite one, it got posted around a bunch of subreddits, and I think almost every subreddit, like every single subreddit that it was posted to, and these are all left-leaning subreddits, of course, like Chapo Trap House or BreadTube or whatever, almost all of them, yeah, here we go, see, March Against Nazis, almost all of them were like, dude, this is a cut-together fucking piece of shit clip from a neo-Nazi. Why are we using this as a metric to determine Vaush's political preferences? Vaush has been doing pro-trans stuff for ages, you know, like the full thing. But the only subreddit, pardon me if I'm salty here, the only subreddit that shit talked me, like the whole thread was about shit talking me, was the one from Chapo Trap House. Vaush is a crypto-fascist. Yeah, Vaush fucking sucks. What a shithead. How far up your own ass? Insufferable YouTube gamer shut-in dork shouldn't be given notice. The way Vaush talks is obnoxious. He's a reactionary. No idea who this is, but fuck him. Not everyone here is going to know who I am, but this is my response. Oh, wait. Calling LGBTQ people subhuman and having a bunch of fascists go, he's right, makes you a fascist. That's not how politics works. When I first debated Destiny on D Live, Nick Fuentes was in the chat calling Destiny's takes based. And while I do think that might impugn Destiny somewhat, as does the fascists, their opinion of the video that iHypocrite put together, I don't think that makes Destiny a neo-Nazi. You know? Okay, this says it's super clip chimp. Whatever the case is, I'm not salty. I'm very level-headed. You know, I always have been, except for that one video. So this is my response. I am not a crypto-fascist. I am actually a very progressive person, and a leftist person. And, you know, sometimes when you put out hundreds of hours of content, which is all not pre-scripted and done live, and sometimes you're in a bad mood and you stream anyway, you say shit's really dumb, comes off looking really dumb. I'm happy to go over that and critique my own impression. Yeah, I think the Chapo Trap House subreddit just doesn't like me that much, which is a shame because it was my favorite subreddit until they started hating on me. Whatever.